next Thursday.
Hey, hello, everybody. How's it going? Did you want to say that online so everybody hears you?
I don't care. He already committed.
So how you doing today, Brian?
Good. Trying to get my internet going.
Yeah, you
Otherwise,
always have that problem in Texas.
I'm telling you, well, the building I'm in, you can't get anything wired in. So I'm on the Verizon 5G, which is literally the towers across the street. And I paid for the upper internet, but don't always get it. So,
And you're connected through your Ethernet cable to your router?
yes, Dad.
It seems like I feel half the time I'm talking to people, I'm helping them get set back up because it is a big difference. And you got to make sure you turn off your Wi-Fi because otherwise your Wi-Fi and your Ethernet are fighting. And that's something else you didn't do. Anyway.
That I turn off my iPad, shut down my other websites, you name it.
All right. So today, we're still talking about prospecting, and I think it's very important to talk about that even more. Because even myself, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I know how important it is to prospect, but we get things in our way. So I wanted to kind of talk about the benefits of time blocking today and blocking out segments. And the benefit of doing that is you can focus your productivity and it will help you in your business. You need to block this out. You need to get, and I'll get more in depth breaking it down how to do it. One of the guys in my industry, the guru, we call him Todd Duncan. He has a book, Time Blocking. Actually, I think it's called Time Traps. And basically what it talks about is what gets in the way. Everybody tries to do anything and everything other than talking to prospects, which is so weird because that is how you make your money. Right?
Yep.
Are you talking here or is it just me? You got a delay problem?
Do you need your headphones?
I can hear you.
Oh, no. I don't know what's working today. I'll fix it in a second. On the fly. All
right. Well, I'm going to keep going.
Do it.
All right. So one of the things that everybody talks about is, the leads and they're not working them, that kind of stuff. And I always joke because when I first got in the industry, I worked for a company and they treated their employees like this.
You got leads. Mitch and Murray paid good money. Get their names to sell them. You can't close the leads you're given. You can't close shit. You are shit. Hit the bricks, pal, and beat it because you are going out.
The leads are weak.
The leads are weak. The fucking leads are weak. You're weak.
All right. We don't need any more of that. But basically what that's saying is just because most people don't even work leads these days. The time that they need to work them. Most people will do one call to them. That's it. On average, the industry is saying you need to try to talk to them 8 times before you might get them to actually talk to you. It's a totally different world than it used to be. There's no trust anymore at all. Right. Unless it's from a referral source. Are you doing okay over there, sir?
Good.
All right. So the most important thing is time blocking we were talking about. Here's some benefits of time blocking. I don't want to spend all day on this because, again, there's other things you should go be doing, which is prospecting. A quarter of your time, once you're in the industry for a while, should be always prospecting. Always. When you're new to the industry, it should be 3/4 of your time because you have nothing else to do. Right? Jump in here anytime, Ryan. So, and this is, again, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's the interesting part is most people, when they start in sales, they're just given like the former person's CRM information. Okay, just start calling people. And there's that hesitation that kicks in. I'm guilty of that. I went from being an account executive to an account manager where I didn't have to do prospecting. And then they came back later on and said, oh, you need to do prospecting again. And it's kind of like a lost art because you're used to calling up. When you're an account manager, it's more like, oh, hey, you're catching up with your friends and your customers. Hopefully things are going well. But when you have to go back to cold calling, there's something daunting about it. And I don't know why.
Well, because there's an instantaneous response to you. That's why people don't like it. When people send an email, it's just like cold calling, but they don't feel it because they don't see the rejection with the email. Unless the person says, unsubscribe me.
Right.
But that's the biggest thing is cold calling is emailing. It is social media. It is everything. And on social media, the things you get is people who want to harass you would say, you don't know what you're talking about. Like you're going to have those haters. It's the same thing with phone calls. You need to call people, talk to them, and
Mhm.
understand where they're going. And it's just one of those things that I don't think a lot of people like to do these days.
It's not. We talked about this on a previous lesson, but especially the younger generation, because they've
Well,
grown up with the idea of perfecting everything, right? I can take as many pictures as I want. I can craft a text message. I can craft an email. The idea of live conversations that they can't rehearse and perfect terrifies people.
get over it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how you can stand out, right? It's absolutely
Yeah.
the way you can stand out.
Yeah. I'm going to find coffees for closers. It's because it's important. I mean, I know we're joking and everything, but time blocking is how this works. You have to time block. If you look at my calendar, I am time blocked out for all the videos I do, for everything I do. And also there's time in there to call past clients. There's time in there to call current clients, because that's not part of prospecting. That is continual talking to your clients and moving on. The most important thing of talking to prospects is we're talking people who are not a client yet. They are a lead that you're trying to turn into an actual prospect that you can turn into an actual client.
Right.
Right. And so, I mean, I was doing this thing for the last, I don't know, what was it, 4 months, where I was talking, taking calls, talking to so many people who were all through Facebook, other places that didn't know who I was. And you had to go back to the old skill of talking to a lead, which was totally different than what I was used to, because I'm just used to a warm referral from an agent or somebody else. And I was trying to do this other stuff because our business had changed, and I wanted to see what the difference was and what people were doing. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't like it.
You don't like having to work?
It's not the work part. It's you have to, prior to our change in rates, I would talk to 10 people and have 10 deals out of it. Now I
Right.
got to talk to 100 to get 10 deals. So it's a lot more, that type of marketing is a lot more conversations on the phone, a lot more, which is not how I like to I do business. I want to talk to agents. I want to have them come through other ways. That's why I do the radio show. When I do all the lives, and then I also do, I have my book coming out. So those are other ways I prospect.
Mm-hmm.
That is still prospecting, and then I still will, I call people, but I don't just pick up a phone book and call people.
Right. Well, it's qualified leads, right? That's number one. But even today, I turned on YouTube this morning, and one of the first things up there is the Elon Musk talking about don't buy anything for the next 18 months. And that's why these skills are going to become even more important. Is people have gone through, low interest rates, people were buying houses, people were buying cars, you name it. And it was more of a order taking industry than it was. Now you're going to have to go back to really differentiating yourself. And how are you going to do that? How are you going to stand out? And how are you going to reach all these different people? And I'll give some people credit. This guy has harassed me on social media, and I mean it in a good way. He's always like, "Oh, you ready to do business with me?" But he is not listening when he calls. I said, "Sure. Who that you know and I know have you done work for?" "Oh, well, here's some random guy." And I said, "You're not listening." I said, "Who do I know that can refer me and verify that you've done good work for them?" "Whoa, here's this other random account." I'm like, "You're not listening." I said, "I appreciate your tenacity." And this is where, prospecting goes wrong. I told the guy 5 times what I needed in order to do business with him. And he's just like, "Well, I do it with this other random guy." I said, "You're not listening and you're done." And that's where, it's not just calling people, but then those other skills you were talking about last week, 2 ears, 1 mouth, but he wasn't listening. So,
Right. Or ask questions, ask
yeah.
the questions and then listen to their answers. This morning I was, after the coldness of the pool, I was looking at TikTok trying to warm up. And one of the things on there was talking about how, and I'm not going to say his name, but you'll know who I'm talking about. He was talking about how he could call a real estate agent about a property and not get a call back for 6 days or 7 days, to a point where he hounded them. And he talked about, was that Ray Drive? And the issue that I see with it's so true. I was guilty of this. I got an email from somebody who was referred to me, and it came Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
I was busy yesterday or Tuesday. I had a bunch of stuff, and then we did a radio on Wednesday, and I was like trying to go back through all my emails to find that email, because I get 500 emails on that account, and I don't remember the guy's name, but I remember seeing that email. Well, he called me yesterday, and I apologized and said, "Hey, I know you're that person in my email I was needed to get back to, but he goes, yeah, my brother told me to email you. I go, that's the worst thing you can do. Text me, or, you know, I know a lot of people don't like phone calls. So I'm like, just text me to call you, and you refer by someone, and because that's instantaneous. And I think a lot of people are much more that way these days. Because somebody else I was calling, he's like, just text me, please. Because he was a ball game, right? And you tell me all the time, leave me alone, text me. I don't want to talk to you.
That's right.
Courtney's like that, but it's just however that person wants to communicate is how you need to communicate that.
Absolutely. And you can even test and play with things. So send an email. Well, first off, we're talking about phone calling today, but call them. You can send an email, you can send a voice text, or you can send a video text. What was it, like 5 years ago, Bomb became huge because all you do is you go record a video that you sent to a prospect and people will watch videos. Well, now you're even having to take it a step further where you can't necessarily just send a video. People are watching so many things on their phone with the sound off. You almost have to put subtitles in your video. So like I said, it's constantly evolving as what does prospecting mean today? Does it mean social media? Does it mean phone call?
It does. It means all that. It means
Exactly.
everything. I mean, you do everything, which is, I know everybody was saying AI is going to take away a lot of stuff. It's not. I think it's going to make it better. I remember when internet came, not that long ago, when internet came and everybody said that's the end of your companies. When printers came, when you know, other things came, they said there was going to be no longer needing paper, and now we use more paper than we've ever used. The statements, everybody's worried that it's going to change certain jobs. I see that, but not everybody was going through copywriters anyway. So the people who weren't going through them anyway are now just going to sound better. I still think the copywriters people will just be able to do their job faster and for more people, but for less money.
Exactly. That's what's going to change. The money and the amount of people required will change. I think I sent you, Billy Jean is doing a whole thing on where he's going to cover how AI is going to affect marketing. Right. And we both know Cossum, and he talked about how AI will affect marketing. They didn't say it was going to replace it. They just said it will affect it. And with what we're talking about, this is why calling someone on the phone will differentiate you from somebody who's just using Chat GPT to generate an email that they're just cold blasting to people. Right. And that's why different prospecting of phone calling will come back, whereas it's kind of gone the way direct mail is coming back, right? Because people are tired of not reading email. So there's a buddy of mine, Joel Burr, lives in Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, and he's got First Direct Marketing, and they help companies with the physical mail that comes to the house. And that's picking back up because now you can actually, instead of just sending it to everybody, you can hit certain zip codes, you can hit certain type of demographics that weren't previously available before.
I was a guru of direct mail back in the 90s. I totally loved it. It was great. I could get to the person I wanted. The only thing we didn't know was interest rates and certain things when we were doing it, but you could get really narrow to who the people were and everything you needed to. And you could exclude people, which you cannot do on Facebook marketing and everything else, supposedly. So you can get so much tighter. And I see that because if you look at the mail right now, there's a lot less mail coming through, but for us mortgage people, that's what we live, bread and butter, is sending that stuff through the mail because it doesn't get lost.
Yep. Well, and you
but
never know.
All right. So today was talking about time blocking. I just quickly want to go through this stuff and then we can keep talking. All right. So here's some of the benefits of time blocking for prospecting. It leads to better organization, task focus. You block it. You tell people don't bother you. Turn your phone to do not disturb, and then you just start calling or whatever you're prospecting at that time. It makes your efficiency so much better because you won't have the distractions and more productive. And accountability for you got to hold yourself accountable for these blocks. That's the biggest thing. And I think a lot of people do not hold themselves accountable for what they're doing. You doing okay over there?
I am. There's a good extension. I know you have it for Firefox. I'm not sure if there's for Chrome, but it's called Momentum. And in Momentum, you can set it up that it won't let you browse to other websites and things for X period of time too. So not just turning off your phone, but take away your distractions. And so
it's like mommy and daddy for you.
What's that?
It's like mommy and daddy. So
absolutely. Yep. Can't play with your homework.
All right. I'm going to go through this because we're 14 minutes in this and I haven't hit this. So here are the other benefits of time blocking for prospecting. You want to start small. Right. No, don't block off 3 hours to do this. Then you won't do it during that period of time. Start off with this. I heard a great thing the other day where they were talking about is that book, that Audible I sent you, and they said 8 before 8. make 8 phone calls before 8 a.m. prospecting. And a lot of people go, but it's too early. Most people are driving during that period of time.
Right.
Right. And what else are they doing? They're stuck in their car. It might work, it might not work, but they say make 8 phone calls before 8 a.m. If you get their voicemail, leave a short voicemail. Don't leave an ed voicemail. Leave like who you are, your name, your phone number twice. Like that commercial. I know what they did wrong. You didn't leave his phone number twice. The reason you want to say it in the beginning with your phone number, so in case they don't want to listen to the message all again to get the phone number. And then just say why you're calling and be done. 18 seconds is the perfect voicemail length. 15 to 18 seconds. So if you got to practice it. Oh, I clicked on calendar. I went to the next one already. Sorry. Calendar. Make sure you block that off in your calendar. You know, Google will let you, every calendar I know will let you block that off. If you don't like using electronic calendars, you can get a book and you can block it off during that point. However, this is the biggest thing that most people get upset. Be flexible with what you're doing because shit happens. Stuff will get in your way, but then you still got to make up that time. It's like going to the gym and you have a 5-day-a-week routine for lifting weights for certain body parts. If you miss the 4th day, you don't go to the 5th day. You go back to the 4th day. So you still have to do the same thing for prospecting. You can't just let it go. You got to go back to it and finish it up. And then you also want to track your progress. It's important to track that progress. And just by these little things, you're going to help you grow prospecting and make your efforts better. And I know it will. But the biggest thing, remember, this is long term. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So your prospecting is going to happen from day 1 till your last day. You still will be prospecting because you just change your momentum, how much time you put towards it. In the beginning, since you have no clients, you need to prospect. I know a lot of people who back in the day when they came into our industry, they would go to all the leads that people were supposed to have called that never called, and they would call those people. And I knew a guy who was very successful doing that and made a lot of money and then went on to do a bunch of other things because of that.
And like you said earlier, if you're not, what they say, you can manage what you measure. That's why it's important to track. Who are you calling? Because you mentioned it earlier. It used to be people called you. Now you have to call 100 people to get that same deal. So if you're measuring what your output is, then you know what does it take to close a deal. Is it you close one deal for every 10 calls, every 25 calls? Then that helps you not get disappointed when those metrics change, right? And go to 50 or 100. You just know that's where the industry is now. You can measure it. So you can actually predict how long is it going to take until I get the next one instead of just being defeated by it.
Right. And I remember, so if you know what that number is, then when people say no, you can say, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And they're going to say, huh? And you're going to say, yeah, because now you're the 9 no's. I know the next one's going to be a yes.
Exactly.
So you need to get, and that's the same thing with, I knew people dating and, I was telling you before where I knew a guy who hang out by the bathroom and you're like, cause they all have to come here and they're going to, I need to talk to so many women to get a yes. So same thing. Yeah.
Hey,
or men, other way.
Look at the apps, man. People swipe right just because of the numbers now.
I wouldn't know. I don't have an app that I swipe either way with. My go scrolls up and down. That's the ones I have.
I went to the Dallas Stars hockey game last night. There were people on their apps swiping while the game's going on. So people are multitasking in between like periods and stuff. You see people on there setting up their next date. So
with the date that they're on right now, they're setting up their next date.
It was more, that's a good question. I wasn't paying attention to who they were next to. I just saw them opening up the apps and swiping.
All right. So the most important thing that we wanted to talk about today is time blocking. You need to do it. It's the best way to control your time. I think we have a comment. Time management is my best issue, Christy. So you really need to block that time out. And I think people will block the time and then ignore their book.
Right.
You have to do it. It's to make yourself successful. You need to block this out and to move forward. And I just know a lot of people fail at this and they go to all these seminars, how to get better, how to do this. And the best thing they can do is just do the basics and you'll do very well. Because the seminars tell you the same thing over and over and over. And you keep paying them, but they keep telling you what to do and you just don't do it. So.
Well, that's why I was trying to look up that technique while we were talking. It's called the Pomodoro technique. And that's where you can schedule in, okay, I will make calls for 25 minutes. Then I'll give myself a 10-minute break. and you can buy Pomodoro timers. You can download them. You can do extensions on your different browsers of all to help you focus during that time. Because if you can work on that, that's where it makes a difference.
Right. And that's, I get, I don't get distracted by browsers. That's not my problem. I get distracted by other people coming in my office. So, or calling me, you follow me. Because like yesterday, I had so much to do in the afternoon to get ready for a first-time homebuyer seminar to finish my stuff. And I was qualifying people for for 4 hours instead, which that's okay. Because that's part of what we do. So that's pretty much what I have for today. I don't want to, I like to be short, to the point, get it done, move on.
Right. Let's see. So I will say I'm going to put how to people to spell the Pomodoro technique. So let me go create a banner real fast.
Coffee's for closers only. You think I'm fucking with you?
Sorry, I had to do that one.
Do it.
I already did.
Wow.
That was the best. Huh?
I saw it.
Coffee's for a closer.
That was the one that people can go and Google.
I thought that was a hat, but anyway.
Yeah. But it just basically lets you say, I want to work for X amount of time, then I'm going to stop, and then I can give myself a break or whatever. And you can program it into different browsers. You can, like I said, there's timers you can buy off Amazon, because that's the whole thing. Once you get started, you can lose track of time. It's people dread doing it. But if they know, it's like going to the gym. Oh, I got to do 5 reps, or whatever. Now you may pop out 7, but it's the people that dread that 5. And it's funny when you get your mind on board with you, how much of a difference you can make.
Keep talking.
What's that? Keep talking?
I said keep talking.
Oh, I just think it's true. I mean, when I'm going to be the stereotypical guy, when I did CrossFit, they would ask you, okay, what's your number? What are you going to do for this workout? And then it gave you something to shoot for, and you can bypass it. But now you're also held accountable for, am I going to make it to those reps, or am I going to make it under that time? If you can set up those type of things and gamify it as well, that's how you do it. But, back to time blocking, you look at Grant Cardone, you talk, one of the first things Brad Lee always asks people when they're talking about what they made in their business is, how many phone calls did you make before you closed a deal? And that's where that tracking metrics comes in as well.
Right. And my book comes out on February 14th, and this is how I'm going to feel when my book comes out.
The new phone book's here! The new phone book's here! Well, I wish I could get that excited about nothing! Are you kidding? Page 73, Johnson, Maven, R. I'm somebody now!
There you go.
I haven't watched that movie in a long time. It's funny. A lot of, I guess I was flipping through the TV the other night looking, like a lot of old comedies are coming back. Airplane now is back out.
Oh, yeah, but they won't remake that.
Oh, no, you can't remake. We used to have a sense of humor. We don't anymore, but yes.
Yeah. So. All right, Brian, it was nice talking with you. I want to thank everybody for watching. We come Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. We talk about sales. We're Aces53, which has to do with attitude, commitment, enthusiasm, smile. The joker is that extra thing you bring to the table, and we try to bring that to you on Thursday. Today was just a different day because I wanted to get more in prospecting, because it's one skill that you need to get done and be good at, because that is where we fail. If you do not prospect, the book we should put out is Prospect or Die, kind of like differentiate or die. Because if you do not prospect, you will not get any clients, or, you will not survive. You have to prospect. You have to call people on a regular basis, get a CRM, whatever works for you. That is the CRM to use. I don't care all these fancy ones out there. Everybody says, oh, this is the best one. No, the one you use is the best one.
Right.
So use it. And plan. I mean, you got to focus on and keep track. I like the ones I was using where it would keep my phone call inside the that CRM. When I made a phone call out, I could go back to that phone call, listen to the end of that conversation that we had, and then when I talked to them, I remembered exactly what we talked about.
Oh wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's the one that everybody's using right now.
Gotcha. Well,
yeah,
you should come to their event next year. Good reason to come to Dallas.
There you go. All right. Thanks again, everybody. Make it a great day, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Bye, everybody.
Don't run away.